I'm Charlotte Dragelbis. My husband Vernon and I joined First Christian Church on June the 25th, 1995. And in that time we had a series of ministers come and go, 2 years, 2.5 years, and here we are once again facing finding a new pastor for our church. So I'm going to share with you something that was a monumental moment in the life of First Christian Church. I was asked to be on the search committee, and I decided I would be able to serve. And at our committee meeting, we had a committee that was committed to finding the best there was available to lift our church up and forward. At the first meeting, we discussed the criteria which we would use in our evaluation process. We were then given 5 resumes to take home and critique and rank them 1 to 5. Then when we came back for the next meeting, every one of us would give our resumes of the first 3 that we felt were worth looking at. Well, it took several months before God sent us the resume that we really needed to see. And luck would have it, it was in my stack. This one stood out like a light in the middle of the dark night. And her name was Reverend JoLynn Wilkes. I presented that resume to the committee, and they decided immediately that she stood out like that light in the dark night and that she was a prime candidate for what we needed. So it was decided that I should give her a call and see if I could set up a meeting for her to come with us to meet with the committee and see the church and see if she would be a good fit. When I got home, I did that immediately. When JoLynn answered the phone, I explained who I was and what my purpose was, and that her resume had caught our attention, and definitely we would like to speak to her about coming to be with us and see if maybe we would be a good fit. And she said, well, I am definitely ready to go from an associate pastorate into a lead pastorate, but I was hoping that it would be closer to home. And I asked, well, where is home? And she said, Chicago. And I immediately said, oh, we have a great airport here in Charlotte, has flights in and out of Chicago every single day. And she laughed and said, you sound like my regional minister. And we went forward from that and had a discussion and just got to know one another a little bit more. And she came up with the idea that she needed at least tonight to mull it over and think that if this was to be, she would be told by the Lord and we could discuss it the next day. She was concerned about not getting closer to home. So I said, take your time. That will be fine. And we set up a time for when she would call back. And the next day she called. She had decided that she was interested and that maybe she should come. And so we agreed that I would set that up. After serious consideration then, the committee gave her a time. We had her come. And JoLynn met with us in the conference room. We sat around the table, and first we had her just tell us about her life, her background, her dreams, what was she looking for. And then she asked the same of us. After that came discussions about salary, about vacation time, living space, and those kinds of things. So we ironed out some things. She gave us facts. We got numbers in place, and we decided that if she was interested, she would come back a second time when we could present this contract to her and go further with it at that time. And she decided to do that. Well, on her second visit, we split up into groups of 3 and 4, and met at different times and at different places to give her a bit of exposure to the city and the church and things that she was interested in. In fact, I think Lori Tanner took her to the arts community and the Arts Guild because she knew that was also an interest of hers. In fact, she had said, would you have any objections if I used my art in my ministry? And we all mulled that over and thought, no, that'd be a bonus. So I was with a group that met at Dickady's, a restaurant that was formerly across the street from the church. We had lunch, and then we got into a little conversation, every one of us asking our questions, and she coming back with that. And the long story made short, I remember at the end of that, she leaned back in her chair and put her hands up above her head and said, who knows, I may find Mr. Right here. And we all chuckled. Well, guess what? She accepted our offer, and yes, she did meet Mr. Right. Her name is now Reverend Jolynn Wilkes McElroy. And in due time, the McElroys had a handsome, bright young son named Tommy. Not only did the Lord bless Jolynn, he blessed this entire church with her leadership as she came to us. She has led this church in so many positive directions. And I believe that one of the most important is our soup kitchen, which feeds the homeless and the hungry. They come and they are seated and served at a table. And they eat from china dishes with glasses and silverware, fed a delicious meal and a delicious dessert. One woman when I was there one time said she felt like she had her self-respect back again because of the hospitality that we showed with such genuine love. Surely the presence of the Lord is still in this place as it was that day. And today, that small group of 17 to 19 has grown to a group of 200 homeless, hungry folks which we feed at the Lord's table. And this ministry only adds to the many others that she has given us. Jolynn is an extra special pastoral care minister, in addition to all the other things she's done. But as she has served here, I just wonder when I sit back what the next millennium will bring to our church with Jolynn and a dedicated general board at the helm. God bless this church, as it always has.